I look directly into the camera, my gaze sharp, unwavering. You ever been betrayed by the people who should have had your back? The ones who should have loved you the most? My voice is cool, controlled, almost like I'm testing the air for their reaction. I stand still, letting the silence hang between us for a beat. Before I take a deep breath and let the words slip out with deliberate calmness. They didn't come. Not one of them. Not my parents. Not my sister. I let the weight of that truth settle in. I sent out wedding invitations, wrapped with care, every detail perfect, and they never bothered to show. I pause, watching the flicker of disbelief settle in their eyes. Before I continue. But that's not the worst part. I say, tilting my head slightly. No. The real story starts here. You see, I've learned something over the years. Sometimes, the ones who hurt you the most are the ones who make you the strongest. I let the words sink in, allowing the tension to build in the room. I take another steady breath, a small smile curling on my lips. And now, it's time for them to face the consequences of their own actions. Let them see what they've missed out on. I step forward, my eyes never leaving the camera. The weight of the moment pushing me forward. Let the games begin. The room is eerily quiet as I stand at the center, eyes flicking between them. Bella, sitting on the leather armchair, looks almost too perfect. Her blonde hair cascading over one shoulder, her engagement ring gleaming in the light like it's made of glass. She's trying to keep her smile, but it's brittle, like porcelain about to crack. I can feel the tension thicken the air, but I don't flinch. Do you think you can still control everything? Bella ask, my voice barely a whisper. But the question cuts through the room like a knife. Bella's jaw tightens, her fingers gripping the edge of the chair as if to steady herself. You've always been so dramatic, Caroline, she says. But there's a tremor beneath her words, a hint of nervousness she can't hide. I smile faintly, leaning in a fraction closer. Is that what you think, drama? I take another step forward, the sound of my heels clicking against the polished floor sharp, slicing the silence. You really think this is all just drama? Don't you? She doesn't answer immediately, her eyes flicking over to my father, Richard, who's sitting by the bar, nursing his whiskey. He hasn't said a word, hasn't even looked at me. But I can feel the weight of his silence pressing down on me, like a suffocating fog. You've spent your whole life pretending everything's fine. Bella, I continue, my voice steady. As I glance back at my mother, Trinity, who's perched on the settee, her fingers lightly tapping the glass in her hand, pretending that we're a perfect family, that I'm the problem. I let the words linger, letting them settle in the space between us. Bella's lips twitch, a fake smile struggling to stay intact. I've always been the good daughter, Caroline, she says. But there's something in her voice now, something that sounds more like panic than confidence. I've done everything right. I've always been the one who... Her voice falters for a moment, the cracks starting to show. I tilt my head, watching her carefully, the faintest of smirks tugging at the corner of my mouth. Right, you've done everything right. I take another step closer, feeling the power shift, the air growing colder between us. Tell me, Bella, what was right about throwing my wedding invitations in the trash? She flinches, her eyes widening just slightly. The smile drops from her face, replaced by something darker. She glances at Preston, her fiancé, as if searching for some kind of support. But he doesn't meet her gaze. Instead, his eyes flick to mine, then quickly away. What are you talking about? Bella asks, her voice shaky. her hands curling into fists at her sides. That's ridiculous. You're just making things up. I don't flinch. I don't even blink. Instead, I step back and pull my phone from my pocket, the screen glowing faintly in the dim light. I swipe through the messages with deliberate slowness. The silence in the room so thick I can almost hear the hum of the electricity. When I hold up the phone, it's like a death sentence. You know, Bella. This is the thing about lies. I say softly, my voice almost a whisper now. They don't stay hidden forever. I tap the screen, and the image flickers to life, a clear, undeniable shot of Bella signing for the FedEx package. The timestamp reads February 12th, 10:15 a.m. Bella's face pales, her breath catching in her throat as she stares at the screen. That's not what you think, she says, her voice trembling now. The confidence from earlier completely gone. I lower the phone, my gaze never leaving her face. Then why did you throw it in the recycling bin? Bella, you could have kept it. Hidden it. But no. You threw it away like trash. The silence in the room deepens, suffocating, as everyone watches her, waiting for her to explain. But she can't. Preston shifts uncomfortably in his seat, his eyes darting between Bella and me. Bella, he says, his voice quiet. But there's a sharp edge to it now. Is this true? Did you really do that? Bella's eyes flash, the panic turning to anger. And for the first time, I see the mask slip. Preston, she hisses. But he doesn't back down, his gaze unwavering now. I watch as the realization hits him, and his face falls. I didn't mean for it to go this far, she says, her voice cracking as she stands up abruptly. I did it for them, she adds, almost pleading. I didn't want them to be embarrassed. Caroline, you would have humiliated them with that wedding. I step closer to her, my face inches from hers now. You didn't want them to be embarrassed, I ask, the sarcasm in my voice biting. You threw away my wedding invitations because you were afraid of how it would make you look. The words hang in the air, sharp and unforgiving. And now you're standing here, trying to make me look like the villain. Bella's eyes well up with fake tears. But I'm not moved. I just stand there, watching her crumble. No, she says, almost pleading now. I was trying to protect them. I was trying to protect this family. I lean in closer, my voice low and controlled. Protect them from what? From me, from the truth. I let the question linger in the air, the weight of it sinking in. The truth you've been hiding for years. The room is silent again. The tension so thick it feels like it could snap at any moment. Bella tries to compose herself, but the cracks are visible now, deep and jagged. I can almost hear her scrambling for something, anything, to hold on to. But it's too late. The truth is already out there, and nothing she says can change that. The game has begun, and for the first time, I'm the one holding the cards. I hold my phone tighter, the sleek glass feeling almost too smooth against my fingers. I can hear the sound of my breath, shallow and measured, as I swipe through the files, looking for the one I need. The moment I find it, I exhale, the weight of the next step pressing down on me. It's time, I murmur, almost to myself, though the room feels like it's closing in. I look over at Bella, still sitting there with that forced smile on her face, her engagement ring gleaming under the chandelier light, trying so hard to hold on to the image she's created. You really thought I'd let you get away with this, didn't you, I say? My voice steady, but the words cut through the air like ice. Bella blinks, clearly trying to mask the sudden shift in her expression. What are you talking about? She asks, her voice trembling just slightly. The walls are closing in. And I can see it now, her confidence cracking. Her calm facade slowly crumbling. I lean forward slightly, the tip of my heel tapping against the floor. My eyes never leaving hers. You thought I didn't know about the filters. About the emails you've been hiding. But you were wrong. I know everything. Her face pales. But she quickly gathers herself. I don't know what you mean, she says, her voice higher now. But I can hear the fear creeping in. You've been deleting the wedding invitations. Bella. Emails that I sent you. All those months ago. But you never thought to delete the receipts. Did you? I let the words sink in. And the silence feels heavy. Thick with anticipation. I can see her shift uncomfortably in her chair. The tight grip on her glass, a clear sign she's losing control. I stand up slowly, making my way over to the side table. My steps purposeful, measured. I turn to her. The small device in my hand now, a weapon in this quiet battle. You really thought I wouldn't have access to everything I ask? Raising an eyebrow. That I wouldn't figure out what you did with those invitations. Bella's eyes dart to her fiancé. Preston, who's sitting silently now. His lips pressed into a thin line, not knowing whether to speak or stay quiet. You're wrong. Caroline. Bella snaps, trying to regain her composure. But it's too late. I did it for the family. For them, she says. Her voice almost desperate now. You were going to embarrass us with that wedding. It wasn't proper. I let her words hang in the air for a moment, watching her squirm. The last threads of her control slipping through her fingers. For them or for you, I ask. My voice low. Almost a whisper. I take a step closer to her. My eyes narrowing as I hold up the phone. The image on the screen is clear. It's a screenshot of her email inbox. Marked with that unmistakable filter she set up to block anything about my wedding. The timestamp is undeniable. Clear as day. Look at this. Bella. You deleted the wedding emails. You even deleted the invitations I sent. But this proves everything. You were the one who made sure I would never get their attention. Her breath catches, and I watch the color drain from her face. This is crazy. She stammers, but I can see the panic in her eyes now. The reality of her actions crashing down. You didn't just hurt me. Bella, you hurt them too. And now, they'll know everything. I swipe through the rest of the evidence. One file after another. The images flicking by. I watch her face change. The guilt eating away at her. There's no denying it now. She's been exposed. You can't undo what you've done. I say quietly. My voice tinged with cold satisfaction. But you'll have to live with it. All of it. Bella opens her mouth to speak. But no words come out. She just stares at the phone screen. Helpless. The room is deathly silent. And for a moment, the only sound is the faint hum of the air conditioning. Cooling the tension that fills the air, I take another step back. My eyes never leaving hers. And in that moment, I know she sees it. She sees the end of the road. The truth that's finally come to light. You'll never be able to bury this. Bella. This time, I'm the one holding the power. The words leave my mouth like a statement of finality. And I can see the defeat in her eyes. The first strike has landed. And there's no going back from here. Bella swallows. Her lips trembling just slightly as she looks to her fiancé. Preston. As if she's hoping for some kind of reassurance. Some kind of lifeline. But he remains silent. His gaze flicks between the phone in my hand and her. A flicker of uncertainty flashing across his face. You can't do this. Bella says finally. her voice cracking just enough to betray the fear she's trying so desperately to hide. You don't understand. Her words falter. And I see it now, her world starting to crumble. Piece by piece. I understand perfectly. Bella. I reply. My voice cool. Controlled. And I take a step closer. The floorboards creak beneath my feet. The sound sharp in the silence that's taken over the room. I understand exactly what you've done. And I'm not the only one. I glance at my parents, who have been quiet this whole time, barely looking at me. Trinity, sitting stiffly on the settee, her fingers gripping her glass like it's the only thing keeping her from falling apart. And Richard, still by the bar, his eyes narrowed but avoiding mine. They know what's coming. They've known all along. Why didn't you just let me be? Bella spits out, her voice rising, the anger returning. But this time it's thin, hollow, empty. You think this is all just for fun? I did it to protect them. She gestures wildly toward my parents. But I see the lie in her eyes. Protect them from what? Bella, I ask, my voice low and unwavering. From me or from the truth? I step closer, standing just inches away from her now, the weight of the question hanging in the air. The room feels colder somehow. The distance between us palpable, thick with unspoken things. Her eyes flicker. A brief moment of hesitation before she looks away, avoiding the truth. I did what I had to do, she murmurs, almost too quietly to hear. But the words are like a death sentence. You ruined everything. Caroline, you always ruin everything. She's trying to take control again, trying to twist the narrative back in her favor. But I'm not buying it anymore. I can see through it all, the guilt, the fear, the lie that's been festering for months. And now it's your turn to face the truth. I say, each word measured, deliberate. I'm done playing nice. I glance at my father, his face still unreadable. But I know this is it. He can't protect her anymore. You threw away my wedding invitations. Bella, you threw them in the trash without a second thought. And you've been hiding everything from them all this time. I hold up my phone again, the screen now showing the evidence, clear and undeniable. The room goes silent, and I watch as her face drains of color, the shock hitting her like a wave. Her breath catches in her throat. But she doesn't speak. She can't. The silence stretches, heavy, suffocating, until she finally meets my gaze, her eyes wide with disbelief. But there's something else there. Now, a flicker of fear, raw and unfiltered. I didn't think you'd actually go this far, she whispers, her voice breaking on the last word. And yet, here we are, I reply, my voice calm, almost detached. As I drop the phone back into my pocket, the evidence is out there now, and there's no denying it. You thought you could bury the truth, but you didn't count on me. Did you? Bella doesn't answer, and I don't wait for her to. I turn away, my eyes catching Preston's, and for the first time, I see him truly look at her, not with admiration, but with disgust. The shift is palpable, like a crack running through the foundation of their relationship. Caroline, stop this. Trinity finally speaks, her voice tight, as though she's trying to rein in something slipping through her fingers. But I'm done with trying to please them, trying to fit into their mold. No. Mom, it's time for the truth to come out. I say, my voice firm, unwavering. The truth you've all been ignoring. I glance around the room one last time, my eyes cold and sharp. Before I turn and walk toward the door, I hear Bella call my name. But I don't look back. The truth is already out. The game is over. The silence that fills the room feels like it's pressing in on all of us. Heavy. Suffocating. I stand there, staring at Bella, and I can feel the weight of everything that's come before this moment. My hand tightens around the edge of the table. Me fingers cold. But I don't break, Magaz. You think this is it, I ask? My voice a low, controlled whisper. You think you're going to walk away from this unscathed? No, not this time. Bella. She stares at me, her eyes wide with a mixture of disbelief and something else. Something that looks a lot like fear. What do you want from me? Her voice cracks, the words barely making it past her lips. She stands up now, her movements jerky, like she's not sure what to do with her hands. With herself. What more do you want? Caroline. She steps back, glancing quickly at my parents as if they might intervene. But neither of them moves. My father, still gripping his glass of bourbon, doesn't look at me. Trinity, sitting stiffly beside him, has gone pale. But there's no sign of apology in her eyes. She's waiting for me to break, to back down. But I won't. I take a slow step forward, letting the heels of my shoes click against the hardwood floor. The sound is sharp, cutting through the tension in the room. And I don't break my stride. I want you to understand, I say softly, my voice barely above a whisper. I want you to understand the depth of what you've done. How you've poisoned this family. Bella. How you've turned everything into a lie. I pause for a moment, letting the words settle between us. But more than that, I want you to see that it's over. You've been controlling everything, manipulating the truth. But not anymore. I'm done being the good daughter. Done playing by your rules. Bella's face pales further, the anger that had burned so brightly in her eyes now flickering out, replaced by something else, something cold. You can't do this. Caroline, she whispers, shaking her head. You're threatening me, but it won't work. You don't have the power you think you do. She turns, glancing at my parents. But they remain silent. Their eyes avoid mine, like they know what's coming but don't want to face it. You can't just tear us apart like this, she adds, her voice rising in panic. You'll destroy everything. I take another step forward, my heels clicking louder now. You've already done that. Bella, I reply, my voice a razor-sharp whisper. You've already destroyed everything. You just didn't care enough to notice. The room goes still. I can see her fists clench, her body trembling with anger. But there's something else there too, something deeper, darker. Fear. The fear of losing everything she's worked so hard to control. Your perfect life, your perfect image, is a lie, I say, and my words hang in the air like smoke. Thick and suffocating. It's all built on deception. And it's all coming down now. You've been playing everyone, my parents. Me. Preston, but it ends here. Bella's face crumples for a split second. And I know she knows it's true. She can't hide behind her smiles or her engagement ring anymore. And you know what? Bella Ayad. My voice barely audible. I'm done waiting for you to admit what you've done. I don't need your apology. I just need you to understand that it's over. Bella's breath quickens, and I see her fighting to hold on to whatever control she has left. But it's slipping through her fingers. You think you're some kind of hero, some martyr for the truth, she spits, her voice rising, the anger now mixing with desperation. You're just as bad as the rest of us. Caroline. She takes a step forward. But I don't flinch. I stand my ground. My eyes locked on hers. I shake my head slowly. No. Bella. I'm not like you. I don't hide behind lies. And I don't tear people down to make myself feel better. I'm done being a pawn in your little game. I take a step back. And for the first time in a long while, I feel the weight lifting off my shoulders. This is where you learn that the truth always comes out, whether you like it or not. My father shifts in his seat, his hand tightening around the glass, but he still doesn't speak. Trinity finally looks up at me, her expression tight, her lips pressed into a thin line. "Caroline," she starts, but I cut her off with a single gesture, raising my hand. "No. Mom, don't bother," I say quietly, my voice dripping with the bitterness I've carried for years. It's too late for apologies now. I turn my attention back to Bella, who's still standing there, trembling, her eyes filled with a mixture of disbelief and anger. "You've had your chance. Bella, you've had plenty of chances." I pull out my phone once more, the cool glass feeling oddly comforting in my hand. "But here's the thing," I say, a smile tugging at the corner of my lips. "I don't need to waste any more of my time on you. What I need is for you to understand that this isn't going away. Not now. Not ever." I swipe through the files one last time, making sure every piece of evidence is right where it needs to be. I hold the phone up, showing the screen to her. The first of many images appears. The wedding invitation still pristine, still untouched by the hands of my family. "This is what you threw away. This is what you've been hiding. And now, it's in the hands of someone who can make sure you never forget what you did." Bella looks at the screen, her face going pale as she sees the undeniable truth laid out before her. Her breath catches in her throat, but she doesn't speak. She can't. I'm not the villain here. "Bella," I say softly, my tone cold. "I'm just the one who's finally facing the truth. And you're the one who's been hiding it all along." I turn to face my parents, whose silence is deafening now. "And as for you two," I continue, my voice low, "you've had your chance to make things right. But now, you'll have to live with the consequences of your inaction. I'm done letting you control my life." I give them one last, lingering glance before I turn away, my heart finally feeling lighter. You don't get to have me anymore. And with that, I walk out, leaving the silence, the shattered facade, and the people who couldn't protect me behind. The game is over. And for the first time, I feel free. The heavy silence that fills the room is suffocating. But I refuse to break. I stand in the doorway, my eyes scanning the people who have never once seen me for who I truly am. My mother sits there, her hands shaking ever so slightly as she grips her glass, her face pale, the weight of everything that has just transpired finally hitting her. My father, still silent, his eyes locked on the floor as if it holds the answers he's afraid to face. Bella, standing near the window, her posture rigid, the tears she's been holding back, finally beginning to form but not falling. She's defeated. And for the first time in her life, she knows it. I take a breath, steadying myself before I speak again. "You're all so good at pretending," I say, my voice low but sharp, slicing through the air like a blade. But pretending doesn't work anymore. I turn to my mother first, her eyes still avoiding mine, as if hoping this is just a bad dream. "You've never seen me, have you? You've never seen the person I've become because of everything you've done. You've only seen what you wanted to see." I pause, letting my words linger, and watch as her fingers tremble around her glass. "Well, now you'll see the truth." Bella opens her mouth, probably to protest, but I hold up my hand, stopping her mid-sentence. "No," I say firmly. You don't get to speak anymore. Not until you understand exactly what you've done. My gaze flicks between my parents, and the silence that follows is almost deafening. My father finally looks up. His eyes cold. His expression hard as stone. What do you want from us? Caroline, he asks. His voice low. A mixture of defiance and resignation. What are you trying to prove? I step forward. Closer to the family I've spent so many years trying to belong to. Trying to please. I'm not here to prove anything. I reply quietly. My voice unwavering. I'm here to show you all that I'm done. Done with the lies. Done with being ignored. Done with being your second choice. The words hang in the air between us. And for a moment, I feel a weight lifting off my shoulders. The moment I speak the truth, it's like a dam breaking. And you know what? None of you are walking away from this unscathed. The room is thick with tension as my father slowly stands. His movements deliberate but tired. You think you're the only one who's suffered, he asks, his voice trembling ever so slightly. But there's an edge to it. We've all made sacrifices. Caroline, you think this was easy for us? I almost laugh at his words. The bitter irony biting at the back of my throat. Sacrifices, I say. My voice dripping with sarcasm. The only sacrifice I've seen in this family is mine. And you've made sure of that. You've made sure I would never be more than a ghost in my own life. I turn to Bella then. And for a moment, the anger fades, replaced by something colder. Something final. You don't get to walk away from this either. Bella, I say, and my voice has a deadly calm to it. You've been playing this game for years, manipulating everyone, controlling every narrative. You've hurt people to get what you want. But now, it's time for you to face the consequences. Bella tries to look defiant, but I see the cracks forming in her resolve. I did it for the family, she says, her voice cracking under the pressure. But she's not fooling anyone. No, I reply, my words like a whip cracking in the silence. You did it for yourself. You always have. The finality in my voice is enough to make her flinch. And for the first time, I see the real Bella, the scared, insecure woman beneath the perfect image she's tried so hard to maintain. Her hands tremble as she wipes away a tear that escapes down her cheek. But she doesn't try to hide it anymore. You're ruining everything, she whispers. But I'm already shaking my head. Not out of pity, but out of something stronger. No, Bella, I'm not the one who ruined this family. You did. And I'm done watching you get away with it. My mother looks at me now. Her face a mixture of guilt and shame. Caroline, please, she says, her voice pleading. We can fix this. We can make it right. Just stop. But I don't stop. I stand there, letting the words sink into all of them. No. Mom, it's too late for that. You had your chance to make things right. And you chose not to. Now, this is what happens. You don't get to walk away from the consequences anymore. None of you do. I turn and walk to the door, feeling the weight of everything that's just been laid bare. I'm done, I say, my voice steady. But there's a finality to it that leaves no room for negotiation. Done with trying to fix a family that never cared enough to begin with. I'm done being your scapegoat. I look over my shoulder one last time. And for the first time, I don't feel like the outsider. I feel like I've finally reclaimed the power I've spent my whole life fighting for. As I step through the door and into the cold air outside, I hear my mother's voice behind me, faint and desperate. But I don't look back. Caroline, wait, we can fix this. We can still fix this, but I keep walking. The sound of my footsteps echoing in the night, growing fainter as I move farther away from the family that never truly saw me. The truth is out. The game is over. And no one gets to walk away without facing the consequences. Not anymore. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories that expose the truth, no matter how hard it is to hear. Join me next time as we dive deeper into the lives of those who think they can hide their secrets. Stay tuned. And remember, the truth always comes out.